We will start the class with prayers. Saira. Om. Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadithamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sairam everyone.
Sairam.
So last week we had looked at the Shanti Mantram, which is recited before the Ganapati Atharva Shirsham. Today we are getting into the Ganapati Atharva Shirsham proper. So we will start without much delay. So I'll just read Ganapati Atharva Shirshopanishad. Ganapatyatarva Shirshopanishad. The first mantra is Namaste Ganapataye. Namaste Ganapataye. Let's look at the meanings. The Namaste is made of two words, Namaha and Te. The Ha, which is Visarga, due to Sandhi, it becomes this. Okay. I think everyone knows Namaste, Namaste we tell, especially in India. So what it means is Namaha means salutation. Just a noun it is, salutation. Te means to you. Te is generally used in Vedic language because if you look at classical Sanskrit, they would say Tubhyam. But in this case, Te is very common in shlokas and Vedic literature. Okay, so Namaha Te means salutation to you. Okay, which is the fourth vibhakti. Which for anything which we offer to somebody, we'll say to you, to Ganesha, and so on. So Te means to you. The next word in the mantra is Ganapataye. Ganapataye. Ganapataye means to Ganapati, because this is the fourth vibhakti, or the case affix, the fourth form of a particular noun. So it means to Ganapati. So I've written Ganapati. Okay. So we are saying, oh Ganapati, to you our salutations. To this Ganapati, salutations. Okay. Namahate Ganapataye, Namaste Ganapataye. So that's the first mantra in the Upanishad. The next mantra is Tvameva Pratyaksham Tattvamasi. Tvameva Pratyaksham Tattvamasi. Okay, so just to point out, this Tva is a compound consonant, It and Va. Meva, Pra, Itya, that's another compound consonant, It and Ya. This Sha, the Sha is cerebral Sha, so the tongue should be pointing up when you say the Sha. So Uk and Sha, Pratyaksham, so Anuswara is at the top. And Tattvamasi, so as you can see, this one is, the second letter is a compound letter with 3 letters. It, and va. Okay. TTV. As you put tata va. Tattvamasi. Okay. Tvameva pratyaksham tattvamasi. We'll look at the meanings. Okay. Tvam means you. So tvameva is made of 2 words. One is tvam, the other one is eva. Both combined together, it becomes tvameva. Sorry, 1 second. Give me a minute, okay? Sorry about it. Sorry about it. So, okay. So, the next one is tvameva pratyaksham tattvamasi. So, tvam means you. Tvam means when you address somebody, you tell tvam or you. Eva means it's indeed or alone. It's a stress. Actually, we are stressing on what we are stating. You alone or you are, that kind of a meaning. So, eva. Eva is used in many ways. But in this case, tvameva means you alone, you are the one, something like that. So you're stressing. Tvameva. The next word is pratyaksham. Actually, there are 2 components to that word. Prati plus aksham makes it pratyaksham. Okay. Prati plus aksham makes it pratyaksham. So this is a prefix. Sorry, prati is, you can consider it even a prefix, but it's a word by itself also. And it's used in many contexts in slightly different meanings. So I have taken the meaning every. Okay, so prati means every, also has the usage of prati. Okay, pratidinam means every day. Pratidinam means every day. Pratikshanam means every moment. So prati is used in that context, and I have picked up that meaning because there are multiple meanings. There are people who have given varieties of meanings. So prati means every. In this case, that's the meaning which I have picked up. Aksham means ice. Okay, aksha means ice. Prati aksham becomes pratyaksham. Okay. So pratyaksham means there are many meanings given. So what we will go back to it a little later. Pratyaksham means somebody who you see with your eyes in front of you. That is called pratyaksham. Means you are able to see. It can also mean every eye can see that. Pratyaksham, any eye and every eye will be able to see that form. In every eye, this is present. So pratyaksham, for all the eyes also you can see in every eye. Okay, pratyaksham. So perceptible to every eye is, I've given a summarized meaning for that. So that means everyone in this world can realize if they wish. Okay, what can they see? You alone in every eyes. The next one is tattvamasi. Okay, it's made of 3 words: tat, tvam, and asi. Okay, tat means that. Okay, God, Brahman. In Sanatana Dharma, God is always addressed as tat. Okay, tat, that one, or which is everywhere, which is outside, far away, all that it can mean. That is the meaning of tat. Tvam means you. It can also mean this. In this context, it can also mean the individual. Tvam means you're pointing to one person. Okay, so the individual, so it is told to someone, so that person is Tvam. We already looked at Tvam earlier. It's used again. Okay, Tattvam, you, this, or the individual. Asi, are. So Tattvam Asi means you are that. Okay, it's a Mahavakya, is in Upanishad, which says you and God are one. Okay, I am Brahmasmi. There are many other Mahavakyas. So this is Tat Tvam Asi. So we are saying Tvam Eva, you alone are Pratyaksha, in every eye, the one who is Tattva. Okay, one is that undivided principle. Okay, inseparable, non-dual. So Tat and Tvam, you and that are one. You are the same. I and you are one. Swami would say it's something like that. Tattvamasi. So I've given the meaning as you are the visible representation of the principle of the inseparable and non-dual real nature of divinity. That's the meaning I've given. I will go on to say, from where I got the meaning. So we will look at. So it again, another thing which I want to say, tattva can also means the essence. The essence is also described as tattvam. A philosophical principle is also called tattvam. Why? Because every philosophy is actually an essence of God. That. Okay. So everyone who is present in front of is also an essence of divinity. So tattvam also can be an essence, an essential principle. That also can be meant. So we are saying, oh Ganesha, you are the pratyaksham in every eye. So that means you are visible. You are the visible representation of that tattvam principle, that God and you are one. You embody that. Okay. So that is what it is. So if you worship Ganesha, if you understand Ganesha, you will understand non-duality is what comes through in this mantra. So I thought I will read a couple of discourse excerpts from Swami on Tattvamasi. Okay. So this excerpt is taken from a discourse Swami gave on the 9th of October 2001. I will just read out. The third one is Tattvamasi. I think Swami is going about the Mahavakya, so he's talking about. The third one is Tattvamasi. Tat denotes that which is outside, and Tvam stands for innate divinity. It means the same divinity is present within and without, inside and outside. Antar bahischa tat sarvam vyapya narayana stitah. This is a mantra from Narayana Suktam. Antar means inside, bahir outside, antar bahischa. I could have written it in Sanskrit, but I think that will go in a slightly different tangent, but I will just explain. Antar means inside, bahir means outside, cha means and, tat sarvam, that all. So that, okay, sarvam vyapya means everywhere it is present. It's spreading everywhere. Vyapya is to spread and be everywhere. Sarvam vyapya. Narayana stitaha. Okay, Narayana is established, so he exists, he is, okay, stitaha, he stands, you can say that also. That all pervasive God, that is sarvam vyapya, tat sarvam vyapya, that all pervasive God is present within antar and bahir. So tat, sorry, tvam, tat and tvam. Okay, tat is outside, tvam is inside. Swami says, that which is seen, heard, and experienced outside is nothing but the reflection, resound, and reaction of the inner being. Okay, what is within is what is seen outside. So that is what the word tattvam means. So as you can see, we are praying to Ganesha. You are is a visible representation of that tattvam, That means you are the one who is within and you are the one who is without. Who is outside as well as inside is you, is the meaning of this mantra. Tvameva pratyaksham tattvamasi. Okay. Another excerpt also I've got from on Sattvamasi. That's an excerpt from a discourse of Swami given on the 25th of October 2004. All of you are embodiments of divinity. Your forms are divine. You and God are one. You're not different from God. Experience this unity. Ekam Sat means one. Ekam is one, Sat is truth. Truth is one. Unity is truth. That oneness is truth. Unity is divinity. So that oneness, feeling that we and God are one, is divinity. God is not separate from you. God is manifest in you. Unfortunately, you are forgetting this truth. If you forget your own nature, it amounts to forgetting everything else. Never forget your reality. Without forgetting that reality, meditate on it. Always remember one fact. Wherever I am always divine. Hold on to this firm belief. Steadfastly, that is the truth contained in the Mahavakya, divine maxim, Tattvamasi, the inseparable and non-dual nature of divinity. So we can say Ganesha symbolizes and reminds us that we are divine. So he is there, he is present in front of us only to remind us. So by looking at him, by seeing him, we should realize that we and God are one, or we have divinity within us. So that is the meaning of this mantra. Tvameva pratyaksham tattvamasi. We'll go to the next mantra. Tvameva kevalam kartasi. Tvameva kevalam kartasi. Okay. We have already looked at Tvameva. I've just put it here, so I will not dwell on it. We'll go to kevalam. Tamil kevalam means, we'll say, oh, kevalam, that means it's a negative word, which actually means that person is alone. He doesn't have anyone around. Okay, so he is outcast. That kind of meaning is present in Tamil, especially. But kevalam means one. Okay, only that exists. From kevala only the word kaivalya comes. Kaivalya means that oneness. When we merge with God, there's only one thing which remains. That's called mukti. Kaivalya mukti means we have completely merged in the Lord. Okay, that means then only one remains after that. Okay, so that oneness, God is one. Everything is God encompasses everything, and He is one. Okay, kevalam. So that unique one entity. Okay, Tvameva, you alone are that soul. Okay, that one entity. Karta asi. This one. So I think we have mentioned that this S, something which looks like S, is called avagraha, which is a representation of A. When there are words coming together and A is in the middle, A is denoted as an avagraha, okay, which is like an S shape. It is actually silent. You don't pronounce it. So it becomes karta si, but it denotes that there was an A. Okay, so karta asi. I think we have already looked at asi, which is that is or are. Okay. Karta means someone who does. Okay. It also means creator. Anyone who does something. Okay. Inventing, inventing means somebody who does something. Somebody who makes something is called karta. Who does. So God is the creator. So what we are saying is, you alone are that one entity which creates, who is the creator of this world, of everything. So Tvameva Kevalam Kartasi. So you are that one entity, one power, one force, which is the creator of this. Creator. So in everything which gets created in this world, he is the one. Tvameva Kevalam Kartasi. The next one is Tvameva Kevalam Dhartasi. Okay. Almost all the words are same except the karta is replaced with dharta. Okay. So we'll just look at dharta, this the fourth letter in the tha varga. Okay. Dhartasi. Dharta comes from the root word called dhr. So like dharma also comes from that one. That means anything which supports. Like Giri Dhara also we say, one who supports the Giri. Okay, Giri Dhara means who we say he lifts the mountain, but he's also supporting it. Okay, that's why Dhara, Dhr, that root signifies. So Dharta means one who supports or sustains. Okay, so how does God sustain us and support us? To give us everything in this world, in this created world. So he is the sustainer. Vishnu is considered to be the sustainer. Okay, so Dharta. So Ganesha is also Vishnu. So as you can see, why it is called Upanishads is, so Ganesha is considered to be doing everything. He is doing Shiva's work, Brahma's work. So in this case, Vishnu's work. So this symbolizes that even though we worship a form, we realize that it's the same, it's a representation of the same God, the entity of God. But it's everyone chooses a form. So that also comes through in this Upanishad. So Dharta means supporter, sustainer. So we're telling Ganesha, you are the creator, Karta, and you are the Dharta who supports us, okay, who sustains us. So that is the second mantra. So we will go to the next mantra. Tvameva Kevalam Hartasi. Tvameva Kevalam Hartasi. So almost similar to the previous two mantras which we looked at. In this mantra, the only thing which is different is Harta. The Ka is the first one, becomes Dha, and in this mantra it becomes Ha. Okay, Hartasi. Tvameva Kevalam Hartasi. So we have looked at Tvameva, you alone, are the sole one entity, which is a whole thing, which is covers everything. Harta, sorry, I think I should. Harta means one who destroys, one who annihilates, one who takes things away. Who takes things away is Harta. Because nothing is actually destroyed, in that sense. The external manifestation is destroyed, but actually he takes it. He absorbs it within himself. So annihilates. Okay, so I've used the word destroyer and annihilator, but you can say one who takes everything away. He is Harta. So you can also say he takes everything bad also away. If there's some problem also, he will remove it, he will destroy it. Oh, he takes it, he accepts it. Swami always says, you bring all that is bad to me and give it, and take all that is good. So he is that Harta. Tvameva Kevalam Hartasi. So you are telling Ganesha, you are the one, you are this one entity which takes away things, who annihilates everything. Okay. So you should Vigna Nasha means one who destroys Vigna or difficulties is Ganesha. So you can look at it that way also. Tvameva Kevalam Hartasi. Okay. We'll look at the next mantra.
That should be you alone are the sole destroyer, right? Here,
Yes.
here, this one.
Yes. Oh, I see. Okay, thank you very much. This Thank you very much, brother. Cut and paste, instead of typing, so sometimes. Thank you. You will another soul destroyer. Okay. So you can, in all this, you can say any form which we worship, we think it's a representation of that one entity. So that in the Vedas you can see, the same Veda talks about Vishnu also that way, Rudra also that way, Ganesha also that way. So that with that view, many people say in Hinduism there are many gods, but as you can see in the Vedas themselves, there's no distinction between the forms which you address. That comes through very clearly in every Upanishad. Okay, people then say, "Oh, why are it's contradictory? You are saying Vishnu sustains, and now you are saying Ganesha sustains," because the person who says knows both Vishnu and Ganesha are one. Okay, that comes through very, very clearly in this Vedas, in Upanishads especially. Okay, that itself shows there is only one Tattvamasi. Everything is that. Okay, that oneness comes through, which Swami also mentioned. Unity is that oneness. Sometimes we think, oh, if we don't fight with somebody, that is unity. It is not. Swami says unity which Swami implies is that oneness, identification with that God is the real unity. Because as long as I and you exist, then there's no unity. So Swami says it has to be one whole, and then only there's unity. We look at the next mantra. Tvameva sarvam khalvidam brahmasi. Okay. Tvameva sarvam khalvidam brahmasi. Okay. We'll look at. I just want to point out Tvameva sarvam is, I think everyone knows. As you can see, there is a hook which is ir and dot which is sarvam. Okay. This is the second letter in the ka varga, so it has to be with an aspiration. Okay, extra air. Ka. Okay. Khalvidam. So the next word is a compound consonant. Is made of il and va and e. Okay, ilvi. Khalvi dam. Bra bra ma si. Okay. Tvameva sarvam khalvidam brahmasi. I have avoided the word Tvameva here because we have already looked at it a few times. You alone, you indeed. Sarvam means all. Okay, everything covers all that we can see. Khalvidam is made of two words, Khalu and Idam. Okay, Khalu and Idam. Khalu is the meaning of Khalu is indeed. It's again emphasis you can say. Without doubt, that kind of meaning is Khalu, without doubt. Okay, Khalu Idam, this, which means creation. Okay, Brahma, so Brahman or God, Asi. So what we say, what is said is Tvameva, you alone are Sarvam, all. Idam, this, Brahmasi. So whatever we see in this world is called Idam. Whatever is created is called Idam. So we are saying, oh Ganesha, you indeed are all this creation and Brahman too. You are this creation, you are the Brahman principle. Again, we are repeating the concept of Tat and Tvam. That Tat is Brahman, Tvam is Idam, this creation. So this Idam principle is a very important principle to understand in Vedanta, especially in Advaita. Swami has talked about it in many occasions of this Idam principle. Okay, so we will look at some excerpts from Swami's discourse. Idam in Swami's words. Okay, so that's what I have given. Creation, the phenomenal universe, is within the comprehension of the senses. Okay, the created world we can see, perceive. Pratyaksham. Okay, you can see, every person in this world can see this created world. Creation is within the comprehension of the senses. All that we hear, see, and experience are within the purview of our senses. We refer to all these things as this, this, this. We can, this is a book, or this is a car, this is a home, this is a tree. So that this is idam. Okay, idam. But what is beyond the senses is referred to as that. That is tat. So Swami is quoting another from Shanti Mantra from the Upanishads. Purnamada, Purnamida. That other means that is Purnam, it's full. Purnam, full, is idam, this. That is full, this is full. Purnamada, Purnamida. The term that refers to something which is distant. That means something which is far away, distant, which cannot be seen or which cannot be perceived. From what is that? From what is that distant? From what is this near? Because of what is that distant? Because of what this is near. We use the term this to refer to things which are within the purview of the senses. That refers to what is beyond the senses. So what is beyond the senses has been called Adhyatmik. So Adhyatmik means that principle. I think we all use this Adhyatma. Okay. So Swami used the word Adha is that. So Adhyatmic principle, that principle which cannot be perceived by senses is called Adhyatmic. Okay, spiritual. What is below the senses has been called Bhautika, related to Bhuta, which is elements. Okay. Bhuta means elements. So Bhautika means what comes from elements, what is made of elements is called Bhautika. So all this world is Bhautika, all this creation is Bhautika because it's all made up of elemental constituted by the 5 elements. Okay. So what Swami says is Adhyatmik means that which cannot be perceived by the senses, which is that or tat. What is perceived by the elements is all this creation and that's called this, idam. Okay. We are simultaneously below the senses and above the senses. Below the senses is body. Beyond the senses is Hridaya, the spiritual heart. The eternal Hridaya is encased within the perishable body. So the Atman which is eternal, which never destroys, is in the body which can perish. Okay, perishable body. It is like keeping valuable jewels in a relatively cheap iron safe. Divinity is the valuable treasure kept in the iron safe of the body. This indicates our true form. So you can see that and this are coexisting in one place. And they are one and the same. So this is an excerpt from a discourse which Swami gave in 1988, May 6th. Okay. So I thought it will be apt to, we'll go back to the mantra and see. So Swami is talking about that and this. That is God, Atman, Brahman. This is all creation. Okay. Made of 5 elements. So we go back to the mantra. Tvameva Sarvam, all. Kalu idam, all this creation. Okay, that's why I use the word idam, is this and creation. Brahma, Brahman, God is are. Okay, so you indeed are all this creation and Brahma. Okay, that's what is this mantra. Tvameva sarvam kalvidam brahm. Tvameva sarvam kalvidam brahmasi. Okay, so that's the meaning of this mantra. So we will go to the next one. Tvam sakshadatmasi nityam. Tvam sakshadatmasi nityam. Tvam we have already seen. Tvam means you. Sakshad atmasi. Okay. I've broken it into three words, which is sakshat, atma, and asi. You can say saksha, atma, and asi. So it's made of three words. Nityam is the last word in the mantra. If we just look at the words, tvam you all are familiar with, sa, uksha we have already discussed, uk and sha, which is cerebral, saksha, atma, it and ma, asi. Okay. Sakshat, aksha we have already looked at as eyes. Okay. Sa akshat is sakshat. So with eyes, what is seen? Okay. With eyes, what is seen? Again, we should look at this. When you say eyes, it is not necessarily the physical eye. It is our ability to see is also the aksha, sakshat. Okay. Even though the word aksha means eyes, is not the physical eye. Is I think something which we should consider. Tvam sakshat atma, which is atman, asi, are. Okay. Nityam. Nityam means which is eternal, like Satyam, Nityam. Nityam is any, so God or the Atman is considered Nityam, which is never destroyed. Okay, there's nothing which is beyond, it cannot be removed, it cannot change. All that is Nitya. Nitya means that which cannot change, which will never be taken away. Okay, that is Nityam, eternal. So we are saying you are the visible eternal Atman. So we are telling Ganesha, Tvam Sakshat Atmasi Nityam. This Sakshat, another Sandhi which I forgot to mention, this It becomes the Id, and that is when the Sandhi comes. That's why you get Sakshat Atma. Okay. Originally it's It, the. Due to Sandhi, it becomes the, and due to then it becomes Sakshat Atma, Datma. Okay. I thought I would just mention that. That's I think I covered it. Tvam sakshad atmasi nitya. Then this next mantra, Ritam Vachmi. Ritam Vachmi. The next one is Satyam Vachmi. This Vach Ritam is, I think we have already looked at. Truth in thought, word, and deed. Swami says Ritam. I think last or the previous class we looked at the meaning of Ritam. You can see truth also comes from Ruth. Okay, Ritam. So there's, who knows, these languages all originated from one source. So Ritam is truth, which is any concept which is in synchronicity in our thought, word, and action. Okay, Ritam. Watch me. Watch me is I speak, because I think we have already discussed when verb ends in me, generally it refers to the I. Okay. So because of that, I put the I in within bracket. Though the I word is not there, aham is not there, which means I speak. I declare. Which means a very vacha means word, speech. Okay, vach, vak means sound. Okay, all that is vach. Vada is also another word. Vad, that's also used. Vadishyami, I think. Satyam vadishyami. Okay. But watch me is it's I declare, I speak about it. Okay, that's what it says. Means I am speaking. So that also comes in the mantra. Okay, Ritam Vachmi, I speak, I declare. So the chanter is saying Ritam Vachmi, because the chanter also has, uh, because of the mantras before, we understand God is one. So the real aham principle, when we say I, Swami says, if you do not identify with the body, that I itself becomes Atman. So if that Atman is also speaking, so you can wonder whether the person who is chanting is saying I am speaking, or you can say the aham principle, which is God, is himself declaring. What God declares is Ratham. What God declares is Ratham. So you can say it's as if the Ganesha within me is saying that. Okay, you can look at it that way also. Or we can say what is I say is right. But we cannot, because after looking at all these mantras, we should say within us who speaks is that God. The I who speaks from within is God himself. So that God will only speak Ritham. So you can say it's a mantra, it's a worship, it's a declaration, it's also an instruction, reminder for us that it's God who speaks from within. So we should speak with that awareness. Ritham Vachmi. So you can say instead of I speak, you can say Ganesha is saying the truth. What he says is always true in thought, word, and deed. Satyam Vachmi. Okay, again the Vachmi comes again. Satyam is truth. Swami always says Trikala Bhatyam Satyam. That means which is present in all three times. Trikala. Okay. So in all three times, that is past, present, and future. And that thing is Satyam. That is the real truth. So I've just put the meaning as I speak the truth, which is unchanging and one in thought, word, and deed. So this mantra you can say, the chanter saying one way of looking at it. The aham principle within me is saying is another way of looking at it. The aham principle, which is God himself, says always speak truth. So that's why Satyam, we are speak truth means when we speak truth. Truth is that which doesn't change about God if we say and speak anything. And that is what comes from within, which comes from the deep source, the divinity within us. So that is what it says, Ratam Vachmi, Satyam Vachmi. I have an excerpt from a discourse. Man builds a frail nest of sands, prompted by the delusion of certainty. Man builds a frail nest of sands, prompted by the delusion of certainty. A monstrous force upsets his hopes without mercy. So we build, castles with sands. Okay. But a monstrous force, a force which is beyond us, upsets his hopes. What man proposes, God disposes, is said. What we plan, God will remove the plan, so that without mercy. Okay. A sudden storm plucks the petals of a blossoming flower and scatters them on the dust beneath. Sunk in ignorance, man does not learn the lessons these disasters convey. He clings pathetically to his desires and designs. So the result he reaps is quite contrary to the plans he framed. He can get the success he planned for only when his efforts and actions are in consonance with the results he seeks. The supremest result of spiritual effort is beyond the reach of speech, thought, and imagination, as the Vedas declare. Swami is actually there. Swami would have quoted this most probably. Yato vacho nivartante aprapte manasa saha. So that's the English translation of that. Yato vacho nivartante. Vacha means speech. That which is beyond. Speech cannot explain it. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya. It which is not obtainable. Aprapya. Manasa saha. Even with your mind you cannot get it. You cannot approach it. You cannot receive it. You cannot have it. Okay. Beyond the reach of speech and thought and imagination, as the Vedas declare. The Vedas use two words to indicate that goal. So that goal, which cannot be reached through word or mind, is called Nitya and Swagata. Nitya means that which undergoes no change. Nitya, in the past, present, and future. Swagata means that which from one unchanging position illumines the awareness, jnana prakasha, for all from everywhere. The one sun, from where it is, spreads his splendor in all directions. The lamp, though on one spot, sheds lights on the entire home. The Atma, likewise, is only one, but it awakens all by the light of wisdom. So I wanted to, because Swami is talking about Nitya, the principle of Nitya, as describing the Atman. So I thought it's appropriate, because in the mantra. So this excerpt is from Swami's discourse delivered on the 23rd November 1981. We'll go back to the mantra once. Tvam sakshad atmasi nityam. Tvam sakshad atmasi nityam. So that which is always there, the Atman, which is like the sun, all that meaning comes through in the word Nitya. Because we will say, God is there always and all that, but there is, what does it really mean? What does, how should it be experienced by us? Is something which Swami has explained. How in this world He is the permanent, and we should. So when we chant these, because Swami says you chant the mantras, you also should live that mantra. Otherwise, there's no point, no meaning of the mantra itself. So whenever we chant this, we should remind ourselves it's God who is permanent. We should not be running after the world, and even if we run, we should not be disappointed if things are not happening the way we want. All that is mentioned as mantra. So once this mantra is chanted and chanted, we will not be affected by any change which happens, any calamity which happens, any thing which gets destroyed also we will not be. Because when we have already looked at God, you are the creator, you are the sustainer, you are the one who removes. We will never be troubled by anything because Ganesha is doing his job. Okay, so that is the purpose of chanting these mantras and contemplating on what is contained in them, and Swami is helping us. Okay, I will just read. Tvam sakshad atmasi nityam ritam vachmi satyam vachmi. So this is what I had prepared for today. I thought it will take more than 1 hour. Maybe I rushed through some of them. I will stop here, and if there are questions, I will answer if I know. Saira. Yes, Brother Kumar, please go ahead.
Sairam, brother. It's happened to be the 50th lecture. It's good. Can you, the first divine discourse on 9th of 2001, that yes, can you just repeat that line? Antar.
Okay, sure, brother.
Yeah.
Antar. Bahis. Cha. So the thing is, the first word is antaha, second word is bahihi, and cha. Because of sandhi, the first one becomes antar. The ha becomes ir. Antar. Bahi, he becomes bahis. Cha. Antar, Bahischa tat sarvam vyapya Narayana sthitah. Maybe I will next class I will just write the Sanskrit version and show it to you all. Antar bahischa tat sarvam vyapya Narayana sthitah. So whenever we see antar bahi, everything which we see, we should see Narayana or Ganesha or the divine divinity or Shiva, whatever. Okay, I hope that good
No,
enough.
thank you. I have one more question. It's I think maybe because of myself being Tamil,
Yes, yes.
you know that one of the places, I think that Tvameva Sarvam Kalividam Brahmashi. Kalvidam Brahmashi. That
Yes.
idam, is it? I know in Sanskrit it says it uses the soft the soft unaspirated right there.
Yes.
Yeah. Why not? What if happens if I use the other one, the fourth one, the Priya?
So okay, you asked a good question. So I will give you the one example. So there is Upanishad statement called Satyam Vada. Vada means speak the truth, which is the soft da, which is unaspirated da, which is the third letter in the ta varga. Satyam Vada. If you replace the da with the, Satyam Vada, that means destroy truth. Okay, Vada means destroy it, kill it. Vada means speak. So, the meaning of the to the can be significant. Just to see how Sanskrit works is it's just a philosophical discussion. Whenever we aspirate, it is like much more power is pumped out. It's like, electricity 110 voltage versus 220 voltage. So whenever something is aspirated, you actually put in pack more energy in the sound. And in some cases, so it can destroy, it's overuse of that energy is my understanding. You put a bulldozer where, a small soft touch is good enough. That kind of impact with use of the. Idham itself, by I cannot understand whether there's a word by it, but generally there are because every sound we utter actually is energy. We are channeling energy. For example, if you raise our pitch and talk to somebody will feel hurt because that means we are angry. Okay, so don't raise your voice, people say. Why? What happens? You are packing more energy in the words you speak. So some thoughts have to be told softly so that you don't destroy. This is my understanding. So you asked me what happens. So I just gave one example. I hope that good enough, just to demonstrate.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Like something which is, if you like fire, if it's a candle, if you blow, candle will turn off. You will take the light off. But if you're cooking and there's a large fire, if you blow, actually it will burn more. So we need to know whether we are working with a candle or working with cooking fire. So that's my understanding. Yes, Brother Vimaleshan, please. I think we have to unmute Mr. Brother Vimaleshan.
Yeah, Sairam. So, now I just, the word Sakshat, you said Sa.
Sir, Akshat.
Akshat. So that means you said ina I or ina.
No. So no, I mentioned Sir means with.
Sorry.
Okay. Sir means with, along with, Sir. So okay. Let me. The Sakshat, the Sa is the first part of the word, and Aksha is the second part of the word.
Right.
This Sa has multiple meanings. Okay. Sa can be with, along with eyes, sakshat means with eyes what you see.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Sa also means that which is pure, that which is divine also sa.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So what I said is aksha, we should not think what we see through the eye, because if you can see, nityam is atman. We have already looked at. So Swami says that is beyond the senses. So that's why I said when we use the word sakshat, we should not only say visible with the eyes, physical eyes, visible with the eyes, so the ability to perceive, which is our jnana, jnana drishti.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's what I wanted to point out. So the sakshat means, see, atma you can't see with your physical eye.
Right.
Nityam is atman, that also can't be seen by the physical eye. That's why I said, even though I have used the word visible and seen with the eyes, we should take it as something beyond our ability to perceive,
Okay. That's right.
beyond
So
the physical. That's what I
ability
meant.
to see beyond.
See beyond, not
Okay.
what physically we see, not the gross world, but
Okay.
sukshma and stula, sukshma and ati sukshma. Okay.
Right.
So
Okay.
that the causal world cannot be seen, but it can be understood through our jnana drishti.
Right.
Jnana drishti means the ability to see with the jnana, not with the physical eye. So I just
Right.
wanted to point that out when we said sakshat. Because
Okay. So it's what do you say? As you said, so jnana drishti, which can see beyond. That's
it's beyond the mind. Jnanam is beyond the mind.
Okay. And the I just but in the no in day to day in Tamil there are so many Sanskrit words. So this sakshat has the meaning of permanent, right? Isn't it?
Sakshat, yeah, means it sort of implies varieties of meanings, brother.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
why it is permanent? Because it's Atman means it's permanent.
Right.
Okay. Everything else is impermanent in this world. But because when we attribute the divine
permanent
quality,
or even more, sakshat.
is the real one
So,
also mean is the real one,
right.
sakshat.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so that also means.
Okay, and I just try to another word along with sakshat, the pratyaksham.
Yes.
So you said plus
Prati aksha
aksha.
pratyaksha.
So there you give the meaning. So is it
Yes. Yeah. So I said every prati. I used the word meaning prati.
right?
For example, pratyaksha pramana is there something called. Okay, pramana means
Right.
the measure of
Measurement.
whether
Yeah.
something is right or wrong is called
Right.
pratyaksha pramana.
Right.
So pratyaksha pramana means what I see, you also should be able to see.
Right.
Only then it becomes I can prove to you.
Yeah.
I can give it as a proof to you. You see, if you cannot see and I can see, then it cannot be pratyaksha.
Oh,
So
okay.
every eye can see something means that is pratyaksha. If I see something and you cannot see, I can't call it pratyaksha. Okay, it's seen to me. I can see, but you can't see. So that is why pratyaksha pramana means everyone can see it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so all the eyes, every eye can see, that is pratyaksha. So that is the meaning I just wanted to point out in the pratyaksha.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so but you can
because I'm just
yes.
no these two words the way you explain the other day as a learned person, but in a discourse was telling the Arvar or whatever who they saw Vishnu or someone pratyaksha means again he gave the meaning which you gave and they saw him through inner eye. That's what it meant, because they saw Vishnu pratyaksha. That doesn't mean everyone saw him. A lot of people were there, but only they saw. That means they saw within their inner consciousness. So that kind of okay. So Okay, I just okay. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Yes, Sister Kalyani.
Oh, Sairam uncle. In this sentence, the Tvam Sakshadatma Nityam, how do you know that the Sakshat is referring to, or like, sorry, the Nityam, the eternal, is referring to the Atman? Like, how do you know it's not you are that eternally visible Atman versus you are that visible eternal Atman? Is there a way to know like what that Nityam refers to?
So in Sanskrit, the words can move all over the place and the meaning is the same. So, actually, if you see the Vedas, you will see there's some colloquial nature in the way they say these things. So, Tvam Sakshad Atma Asi. Nityam. You understand? Something like that. Okay. You are the Atman, you are the Nityam. So, you can say Nityam Asi. Tvam Sakshad Nityam Asi also you can say. But it's you can say, you can use it as an adverb, adjective, or you can even use it as a synonym. Atman is Nityam. Okay. Tvam Sakshat Nityam Asi also you can say. But the rishis, so in this word, actually you had to say Tvam Sakshat Atmasi, Tvam Sakshat Nityam Asi, or Tvam Nityam Asi. Like that also you can say. So the word has to be understood that way. For example, if you are talking about somebody, that person is an intelligent person and good. If you say that, that means, what does it mean? That person is a good person also. So that's the way I have seen it. But it's up to the person who contemplates on the mantra. So Svam Sakshat Atmasi Nityam. So you can say you are Atman always. Okay, well, that also people can say. But if you look at Atman, how can somebody be Atma always? Atma is always, ever existing, is Nitya. So that's the way I have used it. You can use it as an adjective, or you can use it as a synonym, or you can use it as even an emphasis. That means you can say you will be Atma today and you will be Atma always, for every generation which comes. So there are many ways you can take the meaning, and whatever makes sense to you matters. I have just shared what my studies, revealed to me myself. Okay, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. So in terms of just like grammatically, there's not one is not more correct than the other. It's just up to you to kind of interpret it.
Yes.
Okay.
The Sanskrit, like I can in Sanskrit you can say Asitvam Sakshad Atma Nityam. Nityam Tvam Sakshad Atma Asi. Nityam Tvam Sakshad Asi Atma. Like that, you can say anything and it means the same thing. That is Sanskrit. The order doesn't really matter, actually.
And would it be similar, I guess, for the if you go back a couple of slides for Twameva Sarvam Kalvidam Brahmasi. Again, so if I just take the literal meaning, it's like you indeed are all this creation Brahma, or like so that but where does the and come from?
Why I put and? That's what you are saying, no? So this and is implied that I have put it that way because the only reason is Twameva Sarvam, you are all, Kalvidam, all this, Brahma Asi. Okay, so you can say, is the idam an adjective of Brahma? There are many ways you can. So I think you're grammatically trying to say, is Sarvam an adjective of idam, adjective of Brahma? I think that's your question. So where is the and? In English I have used the word and. So where is the cha? I think that's your question.
Right.
In this case, you alone are everything. Kaluvidam Brahmasi. So the thing is, the word cha in Sanskrit is used as also, okay, or and. but you are all, you are this, you are Brahman. So you can take all these meanings. The cha, it's implied in, as I think in Sanskrit, like for example, Vachmi. The I is missing, but it's implied. So I have taken it like that. Because I think the word cha is not used. Actually, cha is used actually when we start Rudram, we will see cha, cha, cha. It also means Sarvam by itself is everything. Idam is also everything. Brahman is also everything. Okay. So it is not you are, it's.
I think it's not alone in Sanskrit. In poetic language, so many words.
So many words can be also used. But this is actually like prose, that's the reality. It's a verse, but yes. The cha, I think in some places this cha is used, in some places it's not used. It may have some meaning which I may miss. I may be missing. Kalyani Vedaya. I think cha is missing. You are right. The and is not there. In English, I put the word and.
And you were saying, so each of those words could even mean like synonyms, like you said, sarvam, kalvidam, brahma.
Yes, yes. Tvameva sarvam. You are everything. That the sentence ends there also. Tvameva sarvam. You can stop the sentence there. You can say Tvameva kalvidam. That itself a sentence. Tvameva brahma. That's also a sentence. Asi is also not needed. But Asi is that who exists. Is. So, rishis, I think there are a couple of things. One is, the way I understand is, one is the meaning which comes, one is the sound, and there are vibrations. I think rishis know much more than we in putting these together, or God knows to reveal what is appropriate. So some of the mantras, they may not even grammatically make sense. Actually, you will find many mantras in Sanskrit, grammatically they may not make sense. But because the rishis have said it, that's called Arsha Prayoga. So they will say, even if you grammatically it is not correct, Rishi has used it, so that is valid. So Arsha Prayoga is one concept which is used in the Vedas, that we will not debate the grammatical rules there. If the Rishi has said it, that itself is a grammar by itself. So that also comes through. Okay. And if that's the meaning which I take, that's the meaning I take. But so they may not align with our understanding of grammar. But God has His own grammar. I think that's all I can say. I hope I didn't say. So many of these, if we cannot explain, they will say Arsha Prayoga. That means a Rishi has used it, so we just accept it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And just one last thing, the word swagatam, can you just, I know Swami says it means that which from one unchanging position illuminates everything, but does it have another meaning to swagatam?
See, swagatam means welcome. Okay, swagatam means welcome. Su means auspicious. Agata means entrance. Okay, good entrance. That when you tell somebody good entrance means you are asking them to come. You coming is good. Your appearance is swagatam, means you have brought auspiciousness. Okay, so that is the way we usually welcome people. Okay, welcome. Su is well, come means agatam. Okay. So then Swami says, from where can goodness come? Only from that God it can come. If God doesn't come, nothing is Su. So that has to come from that unchanging principle. Only Jnana can bring everything which is good. That is the way Swami says Swagata means Atman has come. When somebody comes at home, what are you happy about? The goodness in that person which has come in, that's what you like. How the person looks, the body, everything is secondary to the goodness, the quality that person has brought home. Okay, that is Swagatam. So the Atman is the one, when it enters, is Swagatam. So that from which everything good in this world has come to become, come into existence. This world, everything good has come into existence from only Atman. I think that's what Swami is referring to in that discourse.
Thank you. Thank you so
Sai
much.
Ram Aruno,
Yes.
can I
Okay.
ask a question?
Yes, okay, Auntie.
Yes, this other position, you stopped at Satyam Bachmi.
Yes.
So I'm asking, is this the first verse?
Not really. I think they have different numbering systems, Auntie. I wouldn't call it the first verse. Each mantra is a mantra by itself, but they sometimes they are grouped together. The first ones, I think, sometimes thematically they categorize. So the until if you look at generally till this one, Tvam Sakshad Atmasi Nityam, everything comes with Asi, Asi, Asi. That the people generally group together. And this too, Vachmi is grouped as a separate set of mantras. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
There are a couple. I looked at various publications. There are different numbering systems used by different people. Okay, Sai. Yes, Kanage Auntie, you have a
Yes.
question, Auntie?
To add to what Kalyani, you gave that explanation to Kalyani. You said, but Rishi says we have to accept. We have this thing called poetic license, you know.
Yes, yes.
So even in modern poetry also, we have the poetic license where they can use anything. And many of these things you can infer instead of putting and. That's
Yes.
something that you can infer also.
Yes.
And one more question, then my question that I have is, in Tamil we say, Avan Thagapana Sakshat Thagapana Poliye Irukkuran. And I in every way is like the father and Ram.
Yes.
Can this come here also we can be used the same meaning?
Yes. So Sakshat means see in colloquially you can use that meaning also here. You know, that's why I said all these words there are multiple levels of meaning, multiple meanings. I have just picked one or two because otherwise one mantra we can discuss for one day. You know, every permutation and combination of meaning, there won't be an end.
Yeah.
Yes, that is also
Yeah,
true.
because seen with the eyes, visible seen. Sakshat Avanapoli Rikran claim we are seeing it with our eyes, Tane.
Yes, yes.
That is why we are comparing
Yes.
that to the father and the son.
Yes, yes.
So,
Yeah, because it's when it's used in the world, we are seeing with our physical eye. Yes, which is he just like his father. You know, that's what
yeah,
we say.
in every way is
Yes,
the thing.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you, Madam.
Yeah, the meanings which I am giving is these mantras are not limited to the meaning which we are discussing. The meaning is vast, you know, but at least we know something. You know, that's the way I look at it. So I am just sharing what I, you know, through my analysis and study I have come to. Don't think this is everything. It is not. It is just a drop in the ocean. So I just wanted to clarify that, and some of them may be wrong also because of my own limitations. But I hope Swami and Ganesha will guide you to understand the meaning which you need whenever you need. That's all I can say. If there are no questions.
Oh, Sairam, Uncle, just one last thing. You said adhyatmic refers to the other
Yes.
or that. I know we also talked about before, like Adi Bautika, Adi Daivika. Is it the same other or?
That's Adi. Bautika means, see, Adhyatmik Swami has said, Adi Bautika, Adi Daivika. Adi means original,
Oh, okay.
old, the first. All that means, you know, Adi, that which from which everything has come. Adi means from which comes also, you can say. Adi also means etc. also. You know, there are many meanings of Adi. Okay. So I would say Adi Daivika means what from the original, what comes from Devas, Adi Daivika. So what originates from there is Adi.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What originates from that? You know, that meaning also is Adi.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So I will maybe, if there are no questions, I will just read. I think I've been asked to, you know, read all the words. So I will read once more, just so that the pronunciation is clear for everyone, and then we will. Namaste Ganapataye. Namaste Ganapataye. Namaste गणपतये त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं तत्त्वमसि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं तत्त्वमसि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं तत्त्वमसि त्वमेव केवलं कर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं कर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं कर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं धर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं धर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं धर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं हर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं हर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं हर्तासि त्वमेव सर्वं खल्विदं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव सर्वं खल्विदं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव सर्वं खल्विदं ब्रह्मासि त्वं साक्षादात्मासि नित्यम् त्वं साक्षादात्मासि नित्यम् त्वं साक्षादात्मासि नित्यम् ऋतं वच्मि सत्यं वच्मि ऋतं वच्मि सत्यं वच्मि ऋतं वच्मि सत्यं वच्मि Saira. I think Sister Dushi had raised her hand once. I think maybe she.
No, brother, accidentally. Sorry,
Okay,
Saira.
okay, Saira. We'll close with Samastaloka and Shanti. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam everyone.